Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad that you're watching. In today's video, I'm going to share with you 15 different hacks that you can use to find cheap flights online. So without much further ado, the first hack that you can use to find cheap flights online is by searching for flights in incognito mode. So basically that means whereby the website that you're on is not able to track your activity. So if you have entered or you have tried to browse on any website, actually almost all websites today, they always first ask you to accept the cookie policy. So the cookie policy simply means whereby you allow the airline to track your activity or allow a website to track your activity. And what that means is that the more you keep looking for flights, the airline will keep tracking your activity and use its algorithms to price your airfare accordingly. So for example, if you keep searching for the same sector all the time, or over and over and over and over, it kind of tells the algorithms that this person is trying to look for this flight and hasn't made a decision. So what the algorithm does, it inflates the prices to kind of give you a hint that if you don't book this flight now, you're gonna miss out on a cheap deal. Secondly, the more you keep searching for a flight, the algorithms get a message that this flight is so much in high demand and there's a lot of people that are looking for it. So again, the laws of supply and demand, it hikes up the prices. So how do you go around this? So anytime you start browsing for airline tickets or you start looking for airfares, go to incognito mode. If you're using Google Chrome or if you're using Firefox, simply hit Control, Shift, and N. So hit the control button at the same time with the shift button and the N button, and it takes you to incognito mode. It opens in a new tab. So if you've looked at this flight and then you want to go and look for another one, simply do the same thing, open a different incognito tab, and this is whereby every time you browse, you go to a new tab, the airline is not able to track your activity and it looks at it as a new search. Okay, so that's hack number one. Alternatively, if you don't feel like going to the incognito mode, just change your browsers. So if let's say you are using if you are using this PC, just go and use a different PC, or if you're using this phone, look for this flight on this phone, and then when you want to check again the same sector, check for it on a different PC, a different laptop, or a different phone. So that's another way of playing around with the that's hack number one, browse in incognito mode, or just change your PC or your browsing tool or your laptop or your phone, right? Okay. Hack number two. So hack number two is visit local airline websites for your destination. So let's say, for example, you're flying from London to Kenya, for instance. If you go to, let's say you're using skyscanner.net to look for your airline tickets, you may not find all the airlines, So for example, you might find the usual suspects like Kenya Airways, you might find Ethiopian Airlines, you might find British Airways, but there are other cheaper budget airlines that fly locally that you may not find listed on the major OTA website. So what you need to do, you simply go to the Google search engine and look for flights that fly within Kenya, for instance, or within Africa. And let's say you might be able to find other flights that are not necessarily listed on the main OTA websites like Kayak or Skyscanner or any other website for that matter. So visit the local, once you have done your Google search and you have identified the airlines that fly locally in your destination, go and visit their websites and compare the prices. You might get really cheap price. Number three hack for getting cheap flights, especially if you're searching for your flights online, is by booking your flights as far out in advance as possible. So let's say, for example, you have your travel dates fixed, you have your destination fixed, and there's like a near zero chance for any of this to change. Your best bet is to book your flights as soon as you have this decision made. Usually what happens, the nearer the departure date approaches, the more likely that the ticket prices are likely to go higher. By booking your flight tickets well in advance, you can lock in the lower prices and use the savings for other things like excursions or nice meals, or even just, you know, get souvenirs for your friends and family. Hack number 4, set fare alerts. Okay, so this you can do on nearly every website on the internet, every airline website on the internet. Actually, nearly all of them allow you to set price alerts. So let's say, for example, in 2020, I want to fly to Brazil, and maybe I've decided I'm gonna fly in April. So what I need to do is to check the airlines that fly from Nairobi to Brazil, and then I can set my fare alerts as early as December. So come somewhere around February or March thereabouts, I already know roughly how much the prices are, and if there's any savings, the airlines will send me that alert. Also, websites like Kayak, Skyscanner, Google Flights also enable you to set the fare alerts, and anytime there's a dip in air tickets prices, they send you an alert. So setting fare alerts puts you on the radar anytime there are sales, anytime there are deals, anytime there are offers, and you're able to take advantage of them before they sell out, and, you know, get your cheap flights booked. Hack number 5, follow airlines on their socials. Yeah, so let's say you're based out of Nairobi. Find out all the airlines that fly out of Nairobi and follow them on their social media channels. This is because most airlines usually announce any sales, any deals, any promotions first on their social media channels. So make sure to follow them. Keep checking every now and again, and especially during periods like Black Friday sales, or when we have like Cyber Monday sales. Those days is when most airlines go all out and just offer so much discount. So for example, I remember recently during Black Friday, Kenya Airways, for example, had such great sales on their websites as long as you booked your flight by, I think, the end of November, thereabout, you know. KLM also had huge sales, up to 30% for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So just make sure you follow airlines on their socials, and you always be in the know every time they post a deal or a sale. Hack number 6, almost the same as following on social media channels, is subscribe to airline newsletters. Yeah, so again, in addition to posting any sales or discounts or any deals on their social media channels, most airlines actually also send alerts to those who are subscribed to their newsletters. So for example, if it wasn't for the fact that I had subscribed to KLM's iFly newsletter, I wouldn't have known of their 30% sale on flights out of Nairobi during the Black Friday season. Yeah, so make sure that you subscribe, and also make sure that you set it so that it doesn't go, the emails don't go to your what do they call it, to your, what's that thing for, the emails that are not, to your junk mail. Yeah, so make sure that once you have subscribed, you follow up and make sure that those emails don't land in your junk mail, but they land in your inbox, and you're able to seize the alerts as soon as they come in. Okay, number 7, use frequent flyer miles. Yeah, so this is whereby, for example, you subscribe to an airline's loyalty program, and this hack works especially if you plan to fly frequently. So just identify those airlines which you're more likely to fly on, and make sure you subscribe to their loyalty programs. With your miles that you earn every time you fly, over time, as you accumulate it, you're able to book flights. And in my experience, it's usually your miles go a lot more when you book your flights through the airline's office. So for example, if you're on Turkish Airlines, for instance, the last time I used my points, it costed me about 30,000 points to fly from Nairobi to Istanbul return. And this is because I booked through the Turkish Airlines office in Nairobi. So I literally walked there and asked them to book for me the ticket, and I was able to use only 30,000 points. Online, when I tried to book for myself, I was getting the cheapest flight would require 60,000 points. So make sure you check with your particular airline frequent flyer program, and make sure that you use the one that best works for you. Number 8, so this especially works where you're trying to book flights for a group. So what you want to do is to make sure you first start by searching for one-person tickets. So let's say if you're looking for flight for your family of 6, don't go into the website there and say I'm looking for flight tickets for 6 people. No, start with flight ticket for 1 person. This will give you a rough sense of the actual price of the air ticket. The moment you enter on the airline website or on the OTA website that you're looking for flights for 6 people, automatically the algorithms just inflate the prices for you. So make sure that you first check out what the prices are individually, and thereafter you can put the multiple filter by the multiple seats. If let's say you're for 6 people or 7 people, or you can actually book them individually, it ends up being so much cheaper. Tip number 8, hack number 8, travel off season. Okay, so try as much as possible to avoid traveling around the holiday season, since every Tom, Dick and Harry is traveling around this time, and the airlines know it, and they know that this is when they can charge an arm and a leg before the low season comes. Save yourself the time, the money, the hassle, the drama, the headache, and skip these dates and wait for shoulder season or low season. Okay? This is because around this time there's so much that is going on. So many people are traveling, so many people are missing their flights. There's just so much that is going on, and the flights are expensive. Everywhere is full. But if you wait for shoulder season, you get to access all these excursions and all these locations for cheap air tickets, and it's even cheaper to pay for the flights themselves, right? Okay. Hack number 9, opt for red-eye flights. Okay, what is a red-eye flight? Red-eye flights basically are those flights whereby you barely get any sleep because of the timing, either of the departure of the flight or the arrival. It's either too early or too late, and that's why it's called a red-eye flight, and you actually end up with a red eye. The advantage in such flights is because they are usually significantly cheaper than normal flights, even though they happen at awkward hours. And I have personally literally saved, or actually like almost half the cost of a flight. I remember one time on a ticket to London, by taking the cheapest, most awkward, inconvenient flight out of Nairobi, I halved the cost of my flight. And then on top of that, I added a two-day layover in Istanbul for free. So take advantage of red-eye flights. You might save a lot on your tickets. Hack number 9, be patient. Okay, fares tend to drop and rise intermittently over a period of time. So if you're determined to visit a particular location but the prices are significantly higher than your budget is, just wait a little bit. Most of the time the prices are going to change, and if you had subscribed and set up a price alert, you're most likely to be in the know when this happens. Okay, so towards departure dates, usually airlines that suddenly find themselves with these large volumes of tickets that haven't been bought, sometimes they tend to lower the prices. So just keep checking, and you never know, you might land on a good deal. Tip number 10, be flexible with your travel dates and your destination. One thing I always keep people, and I keep telling people, they ask me, where's your next destination to? And most of the time, I do not know where I'm going, because I am always chasing the deals, not the destination. If I hear there's cheap flights to Brazil, ndio mimi kwa ndege. I hear the cheap flights are in Mauritius, ndio mimi kwa ndege. So be flexible with your travel dates and your destinations, and that means anytime there's a sale to a destination or around a particular time, you can be able to take advantage of it. And I have mentioned in my previous videos, one way of benefiting from this flexibility is by having the different visas ready. So let's say you have a Schengen visa, you have a US visa, you have a Canadian visa, your UK visa, multiple entry, because these visas not only allow you to enter into the countries that issue the visas, but they give you significantly leeway to enter many more countries. So just by having these visas ready, having your passport ready, whenever there's a deal, whenever there's a sale, you're likely to take advantage of it and just fly out. And besides, most holiday destinations always have a really high price. So let's say if you want to go to Mauritius around Christmas time or around Valentine time, you're going to pay significantly more than if you waited like until March, for instance. So just be flexible with your dates, flexible with your destinations, and you're likely to find really, really cheap deals. Hack number 11 is fly on the cheapest day. So you probably heard most people say the cheapest day to fly is between Monday and Wednesday, or on Thursday, or on weekday. You know what? The cheapest day to fly is the day you find the cheapest ticket. And how do you find a cheap ticket? How do you find the cheapest day to fly? So if you use a website such as Scanner, it actually has a functionality that allows you to filter tickets by either the cheapest month or by the cheapest destination. It even allows you to filter with the whole month. So let's say I want to go from Nairobi to London. So basically what I need to do is to go to the skyscanner.net website, and on my departure city I enter Nairobi. On the destination city I enter London. And then on the date, instead of picking an entire date, so I can say I want to travel in April, I'll click April, but instead of select dates, I click the whole month. That one enables you to see the prices for the entire month and pick the cheapest date to fly. That's how you find the cheapest date to fly. You can also find the cheapest month to fly. So let's say, again, I want to fly from Nairobi to London. I go to skyscanner.net. On my departure city, I enter Nairobi. And destination city, let's say I'm not sure where to fly, and I just want to go for the deal. So instead of entering London or entering a destination city, I will enter everywhere. So the moment I enter everywhere, Skyscanner is going to sort them by prices. And then when it comes to dates, again, maybe I don't know when I need to go, so I will just choose cheapest month. So Skyscanner is going to set for me different cities and the cheapest month to fly to them. Okay? So that's basically how to find the cheapest destination and the cheapest time to fly. Hack number 12. Try alternative airports and destinations. So let's say, for example, a direct flight from Nairobi to Mauritius goes for about $900. This is because if you fly on Kenya Airways, it just gets you direct from Nairobi to Mauritius, 4.5 hours, and you're there, $900 gone. Now, if you just went further out, 1.5 hours flight to Dar es Salaam, you get on the same flight for $450. So the question, obviously, how about going to Dar es Salaam? So you can choose to go to Dar es Salaam maybe 2-3 days before by bus. It's gonna take you 15 hours, but it's costing you about $35. That's about 3,500 Kenya shillings on a bus. Alternatively, you can take a flight from Nairobi. In about an hour and a half, you'll be in Dar es Salaam. It will set you back about $200, and then pick the flight from Dar es Salaam to Mauritius. Return, it's gonna be $450. Total fare if you fly to Dar es Salaam to Mauritius, and then on your way back, the flight comes back through Nairobi, get off in Nairobi, it will cost you about $650. So you just saved a whole $300, right? But if you went by bus, you actually saved $450. Okay? Hack number 13, take advantage of connecting flights. So most of us do not like connecting flights because they're such an inconvenience. They take forever. You have to change airports sometimes. You have to change flights. But guess what? In the end, when you have made those savings and you're sitting somewhere in Mauritius with your cocktail in hand, it makes all the difference, and it's going to be worth it. And if you creatively take advantage of your connecting flights, you even get to visit an extra destination for no extra ticket fare. So for example, if you're flying to Dubai, for instance, on Emirates flights, they have what they call stopover visa packages that enable you to visit the country for 2 to 3 days at no extra flight ticket cost. So you can take advantage of that and visit that destination. Alternatively, you can just hang out at the airport for like 5 or 6 hours. Most of these airports are really nice. Not all airports are small like JKI. There's some really nice airports, so nice to hang out in. Take advantage, save yourself $200-300 in exchange for 6 hours at the airport. You can read a book, you can blog, you can do so much when you're at the airport, and it's going to be worth it in the end. Tip number 14, take advantage of airfares. What is an airfare? Airfare is basically where an airline price significantly drops due to technical glitches or human error or such kind of things. This is whereby, for example, a route that is supposed to cost like, I don't know, $500 return suddenly costs $50 return. So just like airline deals and sales and all those kind of things, these things go really fast, because the moment an airline recognizes they've made an error, they want to fix it up immediately. So you can only take advantage of them as soon as they go out. So the best way to take advantage of this hack is to subscribe to websites that monitor these airfares. Personally, I use airfarewatchdog.com and secretflying.com, and I check those websites like 10 times every day, and I have got some really nice deals. So make sure you subscribe to any of the airfare websites out there, and anytime they have a deal, they will send you an alert and you can take advantage of it. Well, that's it for today in terms of how to take advantage and find cheap flights, especially if you're searching online. I'm going to do a recap. So number 1, search for flights in incognito mode or in private browsing mode. Number 2, visit your local airlines websites for your destination. Number 3, book your flights as far out in advance as possible. Number 4, set fare alerts. Number 5, follow airlines on their social media channels. Number 6, subscribe to airline websites. Number 7, subscribe to airline loyalty programs. Number 8, search for one-person flights first when booking for a whole group. Number 9, travel off-season. Number 10, opt for a red-eye flight. Number 11, be patient. Number 12, be flexible with your travel dates and destination. Number 13, try alternative airports and destinations. Number 14, make connecting flights your friend. Number 15, take advantage of airline airfares. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for staying up to the very end, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you haven't subscribed, remember to hit the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell as well, so every time I shoot a new video, you'll be the first one to know. So bye bye and see you.